Welcome to the CHB Commissioning Awareness Induction for the Coffs Harbour Bypass Project. This session will give you an overview of what commissioning means on this project, what a commissioning zone is, and what is expected of you when commissioning is underway. This induction is for anyone working on the Coffs Harbour Bypass as we move into the commissioning phase. By the end of this session, you will be able to 1. Explain what commissioning means on CHB and what we mean by a commissioning zone. 2. Understand who can enter, who can work, and when people are allowed in a commissioning zone. 3. Recognize how to identify a commissioning zone on site. 4. Understand the main dangers and hazards when commissioning is in progress. On CHB, commissioning focuses on 3 main areas. First, surface works. This includes connections to points of supply, testing and commissioning of roadside cabinets, street lighting, and intelligent transport systems. Second, tunnel works. Testing and commissioning tunnel and cross-passage lighting and power, jet fans for ventilation, wet and dry fire services, and intelligent transport systems. Third, portal equipment rooms and the motorway operations and maintenance facility. Testing and commissioning main switchboards, uninterruptible power supplies, including battery banks, generators, load banks, fire pumps, and general light and power. If you work in any of these areas, commissioning activities will affect you. On the CHB project, commissioning is the point where construction of permanent works is complete and handed over to the commissioning team. During commissioning, equipment is energized and integrated so it can be handed over to Transport for New South Wales for operational service. 2 important things happen at this point. 1. Energy sources are introduced to permanent equipment where they did not exist before. 2. This triggers the FGJV energization process and the commissioning permit to work system. From this point on, the way we manage risk in these areas changes. There are many roles involved in commissioning on CHB. These include electrical and mechanical trades, fire services trades, and external support vendors, independent certifiers, Transport for New South Wales, and other external authorities and agencies, permit holders, permit issuers, and permit supervisors, and within FGJV, site engineers, project engineers, senior engineers, superintendents, project managers, and construction managers. All of these people have specific responsibilities in the commissioning and permitting process. In a commissioning zone, all permanent plant and equipment must be treated as live and energized. This includes electrical equipment, pressure testing equipment, fire systems including diesel pumps and hydrostatic pressure, mechanical piping, fans and ventilation systems, rotating equipment, drainage systems, signage and CCTV, and any form of stored energy. If you are working in or near these systems, you must assume they can start, move, or energize without warning if not properly controlled. At a certain point during commissioning, plant is considered ready to be energized. When this happens, the CHB energization process is applied. As part of this process, commissioning notices are issued, and the boundary isolation system is put in place. This ensures that work is carried out in a controlled way and does not create risk for downstream construction or commissioning personnel. A lockout and tagout system is used to control hazardous energy. Construction activities can continue safely around the commissioning work, and site personnel are aware that the state of the plant has changed. You must pay attention to these notices and boundaries. They signal that the plant and area now carry different risks. Once the CHB energization process is applied, the site is formally notified of changes. We use 2 main tools: commissioning notices and notices of energization. These notices are communicated at pre-start meetings and are emailed to subcontractor leads. A copy of all current notices is kept at the project's commissioning board for reference. If you are working near commissioning zones, you are expected to stay up to date with these notices. Commissioning tags and signage are placed on all equipment and apparatus when a commissioning notice is released, Areas identified in the notice are flagged or bunted off in line with the markup. Lockout and tagout and authorization for isolators, permit holders and permit issuers will be provided as training to those who will be working under permit in commissioning zones. If you see commissioning tags, barricades or signs, treat that area as a commissioning zone and follow the permit and access rules. Only people who have completed this commissioning awareness induction are allowed to enter a commissioning zone. To work in a commissioning zone, you must also hold the appropriate permit. Construction personnel who need access inside a commissioning zone but do not require an isolation must be signed onto the approved commissioning zone access permit. The permit holder and all workers must sign on and off the permit at the start and end of each shift. These permits are valid for 7 days. After that, a new permit is required. If you are unsure whether you have the right permit, stop and check before entering or starting work. Commissioning zones are some of the highest risk areas on the CHB project because permanent equipment is being energized and integrated. Remember these key points. Treat all permanent equipment in commissioning zones as live and energized. Look out for commissioning notices, notices of energization, tags, signage and bunting. Only enter a commissioning zone if you have completed this induction. Only work in a commissioning zone if you are on the correct permit and have signed on and off each shift. If you are ever unsure, stop and ask. Thank you for taking the time to complete this commissioning awareness induction.